In today's video, I want to give you 5 reasons why I love using Dehancer film emulations to edit my portraits. Now, if you follow my work, you know that I love color grading my portraits. So let me talk about that for a second. When I have a client, what I generally do and what I find works very well is I provide them with headshots and then if they need, portraits. And I like to do it in one session because it gives them the maximum amount of images that they can purchase for their portfolio to really round it out. When I take my headshots, I go for super clean commercial look because that's what I learned from my mentor, Peter Hurley. And I love headshots that aren't color graded and don't have kind of weird color cast to them, because in my mind, a headshot should show you at your best and it should be like a digital business card. So if I look at your headshot, it should look like a realistic, awesome image of you. So that's just the way I like to do it. However, in the same shoot, I will then take some portraits of my clients, and I feel like in the portrait world, this is where color grading and going for these really photo looks is awesome and fun to do. And I think it makes an awesome contrast to, say, an actor's portfolio, because now they have a clean commercial look, but in the same portfolio, they'll have this really dramatic color graded portrait that shows totally different dimension of them. So this is just the way that I do it. Everyone is different, but I find that this works really well for me. Now, color grading is something that I learned from my portrait mentor, Ivan Weiss. So definitely check him out. I'll link Ivan in the description below and Peter as well. Everyone knows Peter, but most of you already know Ivan too. But Ivan is a London portrait photographer and one of the best in the world, in my opinion. And he taught me everything I know about portrait work and color grading. Now, color grading, if you start to do color grading, you'll find very quickly that it's a lot of fun because it's very personal. So what I mean by that is there's no specific thing that I'm going for when I start color grading. What I will do is base the color grading, whether I go for a cooler look or a warmer look, sort of based on the clothes the client is wearing and the backdrop color and all of that. So I do have an idea, but there really is a lot of experimentation involved, which is fun. And sometimes I'll think I want something to look really warm, and then I'll do it, and I'm like, nah, I don't like this. I'll go back to cool. So that's, in a nutshell, what you do with color grading. You're actually individually pulling in and out the different channels of color and going for a look that you like. The downside to doing this is obviously it's very time consuming. And although I don't mind putting in a lot of time in my portrait work, sometimes you can't put in the time. Or more common than that, sometimes a specific look just escapes me and I'm not really sure what I want to do with a photo. So I'll try one way or another, and then I find like I have no idea what I want to do. So in cases like that, I really have found that I love using Dehancer film emulations. Now, Dehancer contacted me a while back to ask me to review one of their products, which I happily did, and I'll link the original review in the description of this video. And I got some criticism in the comments of the video saying that the people didn't think the photos I used really helped them to see how the plugin worked. And someone else said that he didn't think it really looked like film. And I think that's all valid criticism. So in this video, I'm going to show you specifically portraits that I've used Dehancer with, and I'll give you a before and an after side by side so you can see and see if you like it. Now, keep in mind that, again, there's tons of options in this software. So the looks that I do are just what my artistic vision has seen. You may not like what I did with them, but at least you can see what you can do with it. So again, it's very subjective. Now, I've been contacted quite a bit by different companies with things like LUTs and presets, and usually I don't want to endorse those products, and it's not because they're not good products, but I find that a lot of the presets are more like a specific look that you see on Instagram, and that's not really what I'm going for in my portrait work. I'm going for something that's a little different, maybe a little bit more artistic. I don't know if that's the right word, or classic, whatever you want to call it. It just, a lot of them don't speak to me. But when I tried Dehancer, I really liked it. And so that's the basis for this video. I want to kind of give you an update on what I've been doing with the program. So the first thing I like about Dehancer is that it's easy to use. So no matter what program you're using, it works with Lightroom, Capture One, Affinity, Photoshop, pretty much all the big editing softwares. I usually use it with Capture One, and what I do is I right click on my raw image and just click Edit with Dehancer. Then it opens the plugin and I'm able to edit very fast, very quickly, and then when you're done, it drops a TIFF right next to the original image back in your timeline on Capture One. The next thing I like about Dehancer is there's a ton of film simulations. So I think there's somewhere around 80 different film looks you can use in Dehancer. And I like having all these options because I'm gonna quickly click from one to the next and just look at all the different looks I can get until I find something that I feel works for the specific photo. The other thing is I do have my favorites, so you can make a favorites list and put the ones that you use the most in there. But sometimes I'm not sure what the look I want is, and so I'm able to easily scroll through and see a variety of different looks. So it's a very easy way for me to see a number of different looks before I decide on what I want for a specific photo. Number 3, there is a ton of customization. After you pick your film look in Dehancer, you can fine tune almost everything. You can add grain, you can add the amount of grain, where you want the grain, how you want the grain. You can fine tune the colors, you can go for a positive or a negative look. There's really a ton of options. So after you pick your initial look, it's not like you're just gonna pick that and you're done with it. You're able to really tweak it until it becomes something you like and something that speaks to you. Number 4, it's fast to do. There's times where I don't necessarily have an hour to spend with one photo. As an option of not having to color grade and just being able to see looks really fast, this is awesome. I really like it. But honestly, the more common scenario when I use Dehancer is when I can't see or get the right look. So there's times where I have a photo in Affinity and I'm color grading it, and no matter what I do, I just feel like that's not exactly the look I'm going for. And I found in my experience that Dehancer is a really cool way for me to bridge that gap from my artistic vision to getting a look that I feel works for the specific photo. And this is where I really feel it shines for my work, because I'm able to see all those looks. As I said already, it's quick, it's easy, and then you can tweak it. So it's become part of my workflow and just another tool in my toolkit, and I really like it for that reason. The number 5 reason I like Dehancer is because it works for film and for video. Now, most of the reviews you'll see about Dehancer are video-centric, and they do an awesome job for video, so it makes sense that a lot of video shooters like their presets too. But as someone who's primarily a film shooter outside of my YouTube studio, I'm not really out doing a ton of video on location and this sort of thing. I'm doing mostly stills and mostly videos for my content on YouTube. So I can tell you as a portrait photographer that Dehancer is a great option to have too. I really like it for my portraits. I like what I can do with it. So let's talk about for a second what I do after I pick a sim. I think that a lot of people, when they think about a preset, they just think click the preset and then you're done. And that's not at all how it works for me. So what I do is I pick one of the film emulation presets, and that's my starting point. Then the second thing I'll do is I'll tweak the photo a little bit in Dehancer and then bring it back into Capture One as a TIFF file. Sometimes I'm done there, but I've found for my particular workflow, I usually want to tweak it a little bit more, either in Capture One or in Affinity Photos. So sometimes I'll export it from there and I'll upload it into Affinity. And sometimes I'll just do something simple like raise the levels, add a little contrast. I'm not going to do any heavy lifting in Affinity if I've used Dehancer, but I'm going to tweak my photos from there. And I find that I'm really able to get a great look that I like. So that's basically it. I think that overall, Dehancer is an awesome program. It's easy to use. It works well. The people from the company are very nice as well, so they're great to deal with. Just an additional tool. Sometimes I'll color grade on my own. Sometimes I'll use LUTs by my mentor, Ivan Weiss, and use those as a starting point and tweak from there. So I'll put those in the description below too if you want to check out Ivan's LUT pack. And sometimes I'll use Dehancer. It really depends on what I'm going for and where I am. And sometimes it's just experimentation that helps me decide. if you like what you see, you can click on the link to Dehancer below. And if you use my promo code, you're going to get 10% off whatever you purchase. And I just want to thank Dehancer for giving me an affiliate link, and the sponsorship is very cool. Helps me to keep the channel going and all of that. So I appreciate that. For those of you who are looking into it, just use that code. You're going to get 10% off. And as always, let me know what you think about this video in the comments. I love to hear from you. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.